Hi everybody and welcome back. We are now starting in on week 2 of our progression series for chair yoga and balance. I made a mistake in the last video. I misspoke. I'm going to try and get videos out either on Fridays or Saturdays when it's running live. The class is live on Zoom. I'll release the video a day or two later. I originally said, I think Thursdays or Fridays. So Fridays or Saturdays are going to be the release dates for them on the website if you want to watch the recordings. All right, let's get busy. Come on up to standing. We're going to start with our high knees. So you're going to keep your core engaged, stand nice and tall, bring that head back, and we got 30 seconds. Pull those shoulders back, nice and tall. Five more seconds. And then we're going to switch to butt kicks. Again, standing nice and tall, draw your heels up towards your bum. I got the camera set up a little bit better today, so I don't have to like peek around in order to see the clock behind you guys. Come back to center. Feet wide, core's engaged, hip circles. So remember, if you're doing this one seated, you're taking a leg out to the side, back to center. If you're standing, we're now going to switch and do the other direction. Make sure to get the movement from the hips, not from the upper body. Back to center. Bring the feet a little bit underneath your hips, standing nice and tall. Bring those shoulders up, back, down and around. Nice and slow. Feel your shoulder blades moving on your back. Shoulder blades go up and down, and they also go out and in. So this one, we're really working more on the up and down movement of the shoulder blade. And back to center. Again, you can do these ones seated as well, sitting nice and tall or standing. We're taking our gaze over to the left, over to the right. Make sure your chin's level with the floor. And back to center. Take your gaze up as far as feels comfortable. Tuck your chin, looking down towards the floor. Ten more seconds. Nice and slow. And back to center. Take your ear to your shoulder, and then all the way over to the other side. Remember, you don't want to shrug your shoulders up towards your ears, so keep those shoulders down and just focus on the movement through the neck. And back to center. Chin tucks. Let your chin come out a little bit. Tuck your chin, draw it back. Back and forth, nice and slow. You're going to feel this up in through the muscles of the back of the neck and also in through the muscles of the front. A really good exercise to do throughout the day to help kind of compensate for all the time we spend hunched over looking at things. Also really good if you have tendency for a lot of headaches. A lot of times those headaches are caused just through tension of the muscles in the back of the neck that join to the base of the skull. And rest. Grab a sip of water if you need. We're going to head into our balance portion of the series. So like I mentioned in last week's class, a lot of the exercises for the first 5 weeks are going to stay very similar. The only thing that's going to change is some of the yoga movements. And then after 5 weeks, then we progress and we'll change things up and make it a little bit different so that everybody continues to adapt and grow. All right, coming up to standing. Remember, always doing this in a safe environment. Make sure if you're doing it on linoleum, you don't have socks on. If you need extra traction, you can wear shoes. I recommend doing a bit of both, so doing stuff barefoot as long as it's safe and doing shoes, because a lot of times we don't spend our whole day in shoes, so it's important to develop the muscles in the feet to be strong. Shoes often add a little bit more support, which sometimes can take away from those muscles actually working. So I always recommend, if it's possible and safe, do them barefoot, but if you do need to wear shoes, feel free. All right, we're going to start with our toe walk. If you need to use a wall or a kitchen counter, feel free that you can hang onto for better support. We're going to come up onto the balls of our feet as best you can, and then we're walking. Standing nice and tall, keep that head up. This one's also really good to get a little bit of range of motion in those toes. 10 more seconds, almost there. And then coming down, we're going to switch to heel walking. So you're going to draw your toes up and walk on your heels. If you're just starting out and you find this one really challenging, that's okay. It is a pretty difficult one. So even if you end up walking on your heels and then coming down onto your big toe pads, that's okay. Just keep working at it and drawing those toes up as best you can. And back to center. Tandem walk is next. Shoulders back, head up, take one foot, place heel up against toes, and then repeat. So remember with this one, you can also go backwards if you feel comfortable enough. But if you don't feel comfortable enough going backwards just yet, you can always just do the turnaround and keep facing forwards. And rest. Good job. Single leg balance is up next. Feel free to have the chair beside you to hold on, or a counter. We're going to have our arms at our sides if you like, or if you want a little bit more challenge, you're going to have hands crossed over your chest. We're going to lift that left leg up to start. Keep it close to the calf, but not touching. And we're going to balance on one leg. Here we go. Lift that leg up. Don't worry if you have to put it down, you fall out of it, just come right back in. Feel all the muscles in your right foot working to support, stabilize, and balance. Keep that chest up nice and tall. And release. Shake it out. Good work. Get that left foot underneath, going in 3, 2, 1. And feel free when you guys are watching this, either live or as a recording, to put some music on in the background and have a little fun with it. Music always makes things better. Three, 2, 1. Rest, lower the leg down, shake it out. Good work, everybody. Grab some water if you want. And then come back to your chair. Next step is going to be sitting to standing, working all those leg muscles and your core muscles and your butt muscles. So remember, you're going to be more towards the edge of your chair. You're going to have your feet underneath your knees. You don't want them way out in front. You don't want them too far back. So you want those feet pretty much right underneath your knees, roughly a 90-degree bend. Feet are about hip to shoulder width apart. Okay? Toes facing forwards. This is a really, really important thing to note. Also, keep an eye when you're doing your sit to stands that your knees don't come together like that. We want to keep the hips, knees, and feet in line. For some of you, you might struggle with this for a little while because certain muscles are weak, but I want you to just really be conscious of that as you're doing the movement. We want to keep the knees from coming inwards. All right, get set up. We've got 1 set of 10. Here we go in 3, 2, 1, 1. Remember to take breaks if you need. 2. Working your way up to sets of 10 over time if you need. 3, 4. Nice and tall at the top. 5, 6, 7. Squeeze those butt cheeks, drive the hips forward. 8, 9, and 10. Back to seated. Good work. Next up is calf raises. So calf raises can be done seated. So you're balancing on the balls of your feet, raising your heels up and then lowering back down. Or if you'd like, you can do them standing. Doing them standing, you can stand to the side of your chair to hang on to it if you need. We're going to go in 3, 2, 1. Lifting up as high as you can. 1. Slowly lowering down, nice and controlled on the way down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, shoulders are pulled back. 7, head's in line with the rest of your spine. 8, 9, and 10. Rest. Shake those legs out. And then come back to seating. So again, using that core, keeping our back off of our chair. We want to sit up nice and tall and straight for most of our exercises. I will cue you if you do need to have your back going into the back of the chair, but for the most part, we want to sit up nice and tall, use that core. We're going to do leg extension. Sitting nice and tall, we're going to extend our leg, toes drawn up towards our shin, feeling these muscles right here engaging, and then lower back down. Again, if you find this one easy from last week, feel free to get some ankle weights, place them around your ankles for this exercise. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. We're going to start with the right leg. 1, 2, nice and slow and controlled. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, toes pointing up towards the ceiling, 9, and 10. Switching legs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good work. Come on back up to standing. Next up is legs out to the side, hip abduction. You're going to be standing nice and tall. Use your chair for balance if you need. Core's engaged, so think drawing belly button to spine. All the muscles of your midsection kind of tightening up around the center core of your body. All those muscles help to support our spine, provide stability and strength, and also prevent us from going into this position. We want to stay nice and tall, keep the core engaged. Starting off on the right. So right leg's going to be first. You're going to stand on your left leg and then extend the other leg out to the side, toes facing forwards. Very important. You don't want the toes going up towards the ceiling. Standing nice and tall, you also don't want to be leaning in order to try and get that leg up higher. Alrighty, here we go in 3, 2, 1, 1, 2. You're going to feel a lot of muscles working in your glutes. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Shake it out. Coming over to the other side. Right foot underneath our body. Going in 3, 2, 1. Nice and tall. 1, 2, 3. Keep that head in line with the rest of your spine. 4, 5, 6. Shoulders pulled back. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good work. When you're working on that one, I think I mentioned it last week as well, don't worry so much about how high can I get the leg right off the hop. Kind of work a little bit both on the balance and strengthening those muscles that are going to take the leg out to the side. So even if you're just here for right now, that's fine. You'll eventually get that strength to draw that leg up higher while still staying nice and upright. So height isn't the goal right to start. It's making sure you're nice and stable and that you're engaging those muscles through the sides of your hip. Okay, next up, knee flexion. So now I'll give you the side profile. We are going to stand on our left leg and we are going to draw heel up towards the bum, 10 repetitions on the same leg. So as you draw your leg up, keep the toes up towards your shin and you're gonna squeeze your hamstrings, these muscles in the back, and then lower back down. Standing nice and tall, holding onto your chair if you need. Here we go, right leg up, 1, 2, core is engaged, 3, 4, don't worry if you shift to the side a bit, 5, super normal, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Shake it out. And it really helps to think about the muscles that we're using as we do the exercise. That helps build a better brain to body connection And the more brain to body connection we have with our muscles, the more we'll be able to use them and feel them. So that's really important. If you don't feel your hamstrings as you're doing this exercise, very normal. It's a muscle that most people don't have a great brain to body connection with. Even in younger people, like 20 years old, I see when we're working on hamstring exercises and they tell me, I don't feel it. That comes with time, and again, thinking about the muscle as you're using it and just strengthening it. And over time, you'll be like, oh, okay, I start to feel that now. All right, here we go on the other side. Standing on the right leg, lift the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good work. Shake it out. Get that lymphatic system going. Our lymphatic system is kind of like the waste disposal unit of our body, and movement is the best way to get all the fluids in the lymphatic system moving. So any type of walking, exercise, and my personal favorite is what I call the wiggles. And my regular yoga classes, we'll be laying on our backs on the floor and we stick our arms and legs up in the air and we just let all muscular tension go and we just wiggle our arms and our legs. So it's a lot of fun. It gets everybody giggling. Okay. Now for a little yoga. Come on down to your chair. Sitting nice and tall. Let's close our eyes for a minute and notice our breathing. Slow the heart rate down. And we can do that by just consciously thinking about long, slow inhales and exhales. And then we're going to slowly flutter our eyes open, gaze towards the floor. And then bringing your gaze upwards. When we are coming out of a quieter, more meditative state, you never just want to bring those eyes wide open. You want to do it gradually. So we're trying to calm the nervous system when we're doing breath work or quiet meditations. And if we just open our eyes really wide as soon as we're done that exercise, it's very jarring to the nervous system. So you want to do those slight blinks, gaze towards the floor, and then when you're ready, bringing that gaze up. So that's why we do that. All right, scooching more towards the front of your chair, feet underneath your knees, arms out at your sides, sit nice and tall, lengthen out that spine. Inhale, arms come up, palms touch. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms up, look towards your hands. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. One more. Inhale, arms all the way up to the sides, reach at the top. Exhale, down. Take your hands towards your thighs. We're going to go into cat-cow. So we're going to inhale, slide our hands down our knees, round out our back, tuck our chin. And then exhale, lift the chest, draw the arms back, gaze up towards the ceiling. Inhale, rounding out that back, reach the hands down the knees. Exhale, open. Inhale, rounding, tuck the chin, tuck the pelvis. Exhale, draw the bum up a little bit, open up that chest, gaze up. Inhale, round. Exhale, lift. Inhale, round. Exhale, lift. And come back to center. We're going to take our right hand and place it on our left knee. From there, you're going to take your left hand and reach for the chair behind you so that you rotate your chest towards the left leg, going however far feels comfortable for you. If you want to go a little bit further, you can also have your arm on the back of the chair. Make sure your spine is nice and long. Inhale to lengthen that spine. And then exhale, if you can, come a little bit deeper into that twist. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, twist a little bit deeper if you can. Don't force anything. Taking time in these poses to focus on your inhales and your exhales, which help us to stay present in the moment rather than about what we've got going on in our day or what we're having for dinner. On your next inhale, come back to center. And then exhale, take your left hand over to your right knee and reach the right arm back for your chair, taking that chest over to the side. Inhale to lengthen that spine, and then exhales, working to go a little bit deeper into the twist if you can. Inhale, coming back to center. Now we are going to scooch back in our chair a little bit. You're going to have a tiny bit of space between you and the back of the chair. And then we're going to sit nice and long, bring our chests, or our backs rather, onto the back of the chair, and take your arms out to the sides for a nice chest opener. Gaze can be a little bit more up towards the ceiling, and just let those arms come out. Feel a nice stretch through all of these muscles here. And breathe. This one's also really good to help strengthen up some of the muscles through our neck. Core slightly engaged, supporting your spine. Inhale, bring your arms in, use your core. and come back to a seated position. We're going to take our butts all the way back into the back of the chair. Back can be resting on the back of the chair. And we're going to do a little bit of breath work before we end our session today. Hands can be resting on your thighs. I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to take notice of where your breath goes when you breathe. For some, it's the belly. Some, it is the chest. And sometimes it's both. So if you want, you can place your hand on your belly and one hand on your chest. And just take a few moments here to see where your breath goes. Does the belly rise? Does the chest rise? Or maybe both? For a lot of us, we breathe into our chests only, which isn't a great thing. Oftentimes when we're very stressed, we breathe into our chests, and then we don't get as much oxygen into our body as we could if we also breathe into our belly. So today, we are going to work on a little bit of belly breathing. So what you're going to do, have your hand on a belly, have a hand on your chest, and you're going to inhale and let the belly expand a little bit, and then inhale a little bit more, let the chest rise. Then as you exhale, let the chest drop, and then the belly. Inhale, belly rises, and then the chest. Exhale, chest falls, then the belly. Inhale, belly, then the chest. Exhale, chest, then the belly. Inhale, belly expands, then the chest. Exhale, lower the chest, then the belly. Keep doing this for 30 more seconds. Don't focus too much on how much time each inhale and exhale is, just working on expanding belly and chest and lowering belly and chest. And then slowly return your breathing back to normal. And don't worry if that exercise was very challenging. If you're not accustomed to belly breathing or diaphragmatic breathing, it can be quite challenging. Sometimes it can cause a little bit of almost anxiety when you're doing it. That's very, very normal. What's happening there is we are taking over a process that our brains are normally in control of, and we are doing it manually. And generally at the center helm of the brain, it doesn't always like when we take over certain functions. And so that's why you experience that little bit of anxiety or resistance towards it. But as your brain slowly starts to learn, oh, hey, this is actually really calming and nice, those feelings will dissipate. So do the best that you can as you're practicing the belly breathing throughout the course of this week, and just be gentle with yourself. Gradually begin to flutter those eyes open, gaze towards the floor, and then drawing the gaze out. Thank you so much for a wonderful class. I hope you guys have a great week. And don't forget, you can do this program today's recording 2 to 3 times throughout the week, and I will say see you next week. Bye.